Have you ever wondered how pro players always seem to know where enemies are coming from, even before seeing them? It's all about mastering footstep sound. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to decode enemy footsteps like a pro and use that knowledge to dominate your matches in PUBG Mobile. Stick around because these tips could change how you play forever. So grab your headphones, let's get started. First, let's talk about how footsteps work in PUBG Mobile. Footsteps vary based on, number 1, surface type. Running on grass, concrete, or wooden floors all produce different sounds. Number 2, distance. The closer the enemy, the louder the footsteps. Number 3, speed. Sprinting is louder than slowly walking or crouch walking. So, keep your ears peeled and your volume up. If you're not using headphones, you're already at a disadvantage. Always use a good pair of headphones to clearly hear directional audio. Let's talk about some settings. Basically, there are 3 types of sound settings in PUBG Mobile. Personally, I prefer playing on the high setting because it works best for me. If you're currently using the low setting, I would recommend switching to at least high. High provides smoother gameplay while still offering good sound quality. Sometimes ultra sound setting can cause your game to lag or consume more battery power. Alright, do you often find it difficult to pinpoint the exact location of enemies in multi-story buildings like these? By carefully listening to footsteps, you can determine not only which floor your enemies are on, but also their movement patterns, whether they're approaching, retreating, or staying still. Sound is one of the most underrated tools in PUBG Mobile. It's not just about reflexes, sound sense improves your overall gameplay. For instance, a player with good sound awareness can accurately predict enemy movements, land game-changing pre-fires, and even knock multiple enemies with a single grenade. Imagine knowing exactly where enemies are before you even see them. That's the power of sound sense. Have you ever struggled to figure out if an enemy is on your left or right based on the sound of their footsteps? When you hear footsteps, pay close attention to which side the sound is stronger. If the sound is louder in your left ear, the enemy is on your left. If it's louder in your right ear, the enemy is on your right. This works best with good headphones or earphones, as they help you pinpoint the direction of the sound more clearly. If you are a beginner, I strongly suggest you go to the training ground and choose the sound training option. This feature allows you to listen to various footstep sounds, and your task is to figure out where the enemy is walking based on the sounds you hear. By practicing here, you'll become more familiar with how footsteps sound from different directions, which will help you a lot in real matches. Let's talk about some of the most common mistakes players make when it comes to listening for footsteps and how you can avoid them to improve your gameplay. Number 1, ignoring the direction of footsteps. Sometimes players hear footsteps but fail to accurately pinpoint the direction. You might hear footsteps but not react quickly enough. assuming the enemy is farther away than they really are. Pay attention to the direction and distance of the footsteps. Number 2. Another common mistake is overreacting to the sounds of footsteps. Some players panic when they hear footsteps, causing them to make rash decisions like shooting without thinking or rushing into a fight unprepared. Stay calm when you hear footsteps. Try to determine how many enemies are nearby and their potential actions. So instead of rushing, plan your next move carefully, whether that means positioning yourself better or waiting for the right time to strike. Number 3. Not looking at the mini-map. Another common mistake is ignoring the mini-map during a match. The mini-map is a crucial tool for gathering information about enemy movement, including footsteps. If you don't use the mini-map, you might miss key signals like enemy markers, gunfire, or vehicles approaching. Keep an eye on the mini-map. This will really help you understand where the opponent can be. Number 4. Not using good headphones. This is a big one. Many players underestimate the importance of good quality headphones for footstep detection. Poor or cheap headphones can distort the direction of footstep sounds or make it harder to differentiate between different movements like walking versus running versus crouch walking. Invest in a good pair of stereo or surround sound headphones. I've left a link in the description to some of the best headphones for PUBG Mobile. Check them out if you want to improve your gaming experience and footstep detection. I will recommend you enable this setting to get the footstep mark, firing mark, or vehicle mark on the screen. Understanding and avoiding these common mistakes, you can significantly improve your ability to use sound in PUBG Mobile, giving you the upper hand in combat situations. In high-pressure combat situations, particularly in hot zones like school, pochinki, or event locations, it can be extremely difficult to hear enemy footsteps because of all the loud sounds around you, such as gunshots, explosions, and vehicle noises. The chaos of these sounds can completely drown out footsteps, but don't let that discourage you. There are still ways to detect enemy movements even in these loud and busy environments. You just need to focus on the smaller, quieter audio cues that often go unnoticed. And most importantly, use the mini-map to detect nearby enemies. One of the most important things to remember during intense firefights is to stay calm. It's easy to get overwhelmed by all the loud sounds happening around you, but panic will only make it harder to hear the important cues. Instead, take a deep breath, stay focused, and listen for the subtle sounds. The more you practice focusing on quieter audio cues, the better you'll become at identifying enemy positions. While gunfire might be drowning out footsteps, listening for reloads, healing sounds, and other small noises will give you a better idea of where enemies are and what they're doing. So, that's all for today's sound guide. I hope these tips help you improve your gameplay. If you're looking to take your skills to the next level, don't forget to check out my previous videos. I've covered detailed guides on mastering the gyroscope and perfecting your sensitivity settings. Both are must-watch if you want to dominate in PUBG Mobile. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more tips and tricks. See you in the next one.